Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Morning, we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, chapter 57, and continuing to read from text 16. Ya sapta hayana sailam utpat yaikena panina dadhara lilaya bala uchilindram mivarbaka. Translation. As a child of 7, Krishna uprooted an entire mountain and held it aloft as easily as a young boy picks up a mushroom. So this is continuing on from yesterday, and this is Akrura speaking, and Sadananda, who had murdered King Satyajit, now had gone to see Kritavarma, and Kritavarma said, I dare not offend the Supreme Lords Krishna and Balaram. And then now he's going to see, he wanted help from them, because after all they were the ones that persuaded him to take the Shamataka jewel and even kill Satyajit. It's a very heinous activity to kill someone. Later on we'll read actually that not only he was killed, but his wives were killed too. So it was a very horrendous Satyajit and his wife. He had more than one wife, and I think that's mentioned as we read through. So now he's gone to Akrura, who would oppose the two personalities of God if he knew their strength. They are cosmic creators, and now he's given some reference. He's giving reference to a little bit loud. A little bit less. Hare Krishna, yeah. Less, yeah. Now he gives some reference that not only is the creator, I mean that's a big position, he's the creator, all the universes come from Krishna and Balaram. Even while in the world, portraying his different Leela, he's now Akrura is saying the pastime of lifting up the Govardhan. He lifted up an entire mountain, held it aloft as easily as a young boy picks up a mushroom. I offer my obeisances to that Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, whose every deed is amazing. He is the Supreme Soul, the unlimited source and fixed center of all existence. Amazing how we explained yesterday what is the mentality of Kritavarma and Akrura, because now, even though they had persuaded Sadananda to kill Satyajit, now Sadananda comes back. They're just praising Krishna, and not only that, Akrura is offering obeisances and a prayer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Namastasmai Bhagavate. That's a very eloquent prayer. Namastasmai Bhagavate Krishnayad Bhuta Karmane Anantayadi Bhutaya Kutastayatmane Namaha. Namaha. He's offering his obeisances, and so it seems just strange that on one side he's doing like that, and on the other side he's praising the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So as we've been describing, when one is impelled by anger or greed or envy, they can do so many things, and they put it to one side, they do the bad things. On the other side, just like we can see, big leaders of the past, they could were performing very, like the Stalin and the Hitler. The Stalin and the Hitler, they could have so many people killed. Stalin had so many purged and had millions and millions of the people killed. But on the other side, with his granddaughter, who was very affectionate, and with the friends, he was very affectionate. So people have got many different sides. And even in the material world, people have got many different sides to them. They can act very kindly, and the next minute they're killing someone. And they're killing, and especially someone in the mode of ignorance, he can do something bad, but he always has justification, the reason why he did it, and a good explanation. Within his own mind, he's explained everything and given himself what is the excuse for doing that very bad thing. And for him, it's all right. It's all right. But in the eyes of everyone else, it's such a bad thing, he murdered. Now, of course, the acharyas were explaining previously, we read, that that all this was prompted by Lord Krishna's Leela Shakti, Yoga Maya, the violent reaction against everything was preparing for the violent action against Saradanda. And so the different reasons were given that both the Kuru and Kritavama were exalted. They are pure devotees. But sometimes even the pure devotees act very seemingly strangely. And an Akrura, for example, Jiva Goswami, was the victim of anger directed against him by the residents of Gokul. This is interesting, because he took away Krishna and Balaram from Gokul, so they were very angry with him. So it seems like he had to get some reaction. If a very exalted devotee is very angry with you and you committed some offense, or they consider that you committed some offense, then you have to get some reaction. So these are very exalted devotees of Vrindavan, Gopas, especially the Gopis, especially Srimati Radharani. They were cursing Akrura, because Akrura was carrying out the instruction of the king. While we're living in the world, we have different circumstances. And, just like in more recent era, just like the Hitler ordered through his generals and that to kill so many of the Jewish people in the concentration camps, and the soldiers who just ordered, and if they didn't do it, they would be shot. They would be shot. So someone might not agree, and there's many accounts of some of those soldiers who were ordered, they didn't want to do it, but they knew they had to do it, otherwise they themselves would be killed. And same as, when Haridas Thakur was brought before the Qazi, and actually it was the smarter Brahmins who were complaining against Haridas Thakur. He's always chanting, what is this nonsense, chanting loudly. And he was brought before the Qazi, and the Qazi said, you were brought up in a Muslim family, and now you're chanting, going to the Hindu, what is this? And Haridas Thakur very eloquently gave the philosophical explanation, and giving so many reasons that, God is neither Hindu nor Muslim, God is for all, and if one has a particular liking and nature to go praising God and worshipping God in a certain type of way, then one has to follow that nature. So he gave many reasons, but the Qazi wouldn't accept it. No, the Muslims, and you give it up immediately, or I'll have you punished and put to the death. So Haridas Thakur would not give up his conviction for the chanting. And so the Qazi ordered him, he's beaten in 22 different marketplaces, and he said beat him very severely until he is dead. He instructed his soldiers to do like that. So and he wanted to make a show. This is quite common. They want to make example. This is what happens if you go from the Muslim to the Hindu. And we want to show you what's going to happen. If you think the same way as this Haridas Thakur, if you think that you will do the same thing, this is what's going to happen to you. So instead of just killing Haridas just privately in some in the jail or in the courtyard, he decided, no, I'm going to publicly, and in many different places, the marketplaces where everyone comes to buy the vegetables, and there's so many people. He went there, he ordered 22 different marketplaces. You take in every marketplace and you make a public example. Sometimes they do that in the more modern way. They hang them so everyone can see, this is what the punishment is. So they beat him and then took him the next. And finally at the end, he wasn't dying yet, very miraculously. And the guards who were ordered to beat him to death after the final marketplace, they said to Haridas Thakur that, we don't like to do it, but we were ordered to do it, and we were ordered to beat you to the death. But if we don't put you to the death, if you don't die, then we will be put to the death. But the Qazi will kill us. So Haridas Thakur, being such an exalted, magnanimous devotee, said, I can't cause you any trouble. I don't want to cause you any trouble, then I must die. Such was the position of Haridas Thakur. We cannot comprehend what an exalted devotee Haridas Thakur. Only the most exalted devotees like Haridas Thakur, and before him, of course, Prahlad Maharaj, who came against Haridas Thakur. But they're empowered by the Lord to be able to do these types of things. So he just, he went into a yogic kind of trance where it appeared he was dead. And in fact, the guards, he just died. After the last beating, he just went dead. And he reduced his breathing to nil because the guards checked it. The guards checked it, and they, put some cotton or something under the nostrils. They checked his heart, and they said, yeah, he's dead. And they threw his body in the Ganga. Didn't offer him any burial, just threw it in the Ganga. And then everyone saw he was dead, threw in the Ganga. Of course, later on he came up, he was just floating, not breathing, but he wasn't actually dead. And he was floating, and he came up on the banks of the Ganga, downstream. Just Lord Chaitanya came there, and Haridas Thakur was paying his obeisances, and he, of course, Lord Chaitanya knew everything, and Haridas Thakur was explaining, they beat me, but somehow or other I didn't die. And not only that, I didn't feel anything. And when they were beating, I didn't feel any pain, nothing. And Lord Chaitanya said, yes, that's because I took the beatings. And he turned around and showed his back. Showed his back to Haridas Thakur had all the red marks of the cane, of the beating of the cane. So these are very amazing stories that for the sake of he didn't want to cause inconvenience to the guys that were beating him to death. He said, I must die. I don't want to cause you any trouble. So these are very, very, very rare devotees. We can't imitate the pastimes of Haridas Thakur to be like that. So anyway, we see here that you have to get some reaction. They got Akuru got some reaction for causing anger with the gopis. This is one reason that Jiva Goswami explains. He got some reaction. And not only that, Kritavama had associated with Kamsa, bad association. We were talking about that yesterday. When you get, even you can be a very advanced person if you get in bad association. So don't go in the association of very bad people. And even you come to being a devotee, if some devotees are on the lesser level, what's called the Kanishta Adhikari, not very advanced devotees, and they're always criticizing, always very envious, very angry. It's not recommended that you associate very closely with those types of devotees. You give respect because they're devotee, and yes, they're a devotee of Krishna, but they're continuously criticizing, making trouble for others, so on and so forth. Therefore, we don't go closely, but rather we go closely to the devotees who are very kind-hearted and very serious about engagement in devotional service. These devotees we seek out. And especially a very advanced devotee, we always seek out. If there's someone, a very advanced devotee, exalted devotee who's coming, then take the opportunity to associate. So Kritavama had some bad association. Now we're suffering some undesirable association, and Kritavama was the older brother of Sadananda, so they became implicated, and so another reason is given by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Both Akrura and Kritavama were furious with Satyajit because he insulted Lord Krishna. They were devotees of Krishna, and so they were, you know, when he didn't follow the instruction of Krishna, give the jewel to Ugrasena, he didn't follow. So that was an offense. Krishna directly instructed him, give the jewel to the king, and he will use it for the benefit of all the people. And then further on, when Prasena was killed, then he said, well, Krishna must have done it. So Satyajit, even Satyajit, he was a devotee, he's a father of Satyabhama. So all these things are impelled by the Leela Shakti. So they were furious. So here it is actually said, furious. They had insulted that because they were furious, very furious. So then he's got the jewel. Not only did he didn't follow, he's got the jewel, and we should get that jewel. And not only that, for all these things, he didn't follow his instruction, and he's the killer of his brother, and all the people were talking. So he should be killed. They had so much love and affection for Krishna that they thought, well, he should be killed till they asked Sadhavanga. So these are all the explanations. So these things are very hard to comprehend from our level, even as devotees. Only very advanced devotees can even begin to comprehend. But here, luckily, fortunately for us, the acharyas give some explanation. So with our intelligence, we can appreciate, these are the reasons. But even so, it's a little strange, because now, as we're reading today, Akrura is offering this very nice prayer. On one side, he's encouraging Sadananda to kill Satyajit. And apparently Sadananda went further, he killed his wives also, and killed the family. Now he's offering Namas Tasmai Bhagavate, very nice prayer. Krishna ya bhuta karmani adyant yadi bhutaya kuka stayat mani namaha. He said he is the creator, everything comes from him. He lifted up a whole mountain while in this world, just as easily as a boy lifts up a mushroom. And now I offer my obeisances to him. And we'll read on. His appeal thus rejected by Akrura also, Sadananda placed the precious jewel in Akrura's care and fled on horse that could travel 100 yojanas, 800 miles. These are very rare horses. You normally, after just a short distance, a horse although can go further than a man, also gets stuck, but 800 miles. So we'll read text 19. My dear king, Krishna and Balaram mounted Krishna's chariot, which flew the flag of Garuda, and was yoked with tremendously swift horses, and pursued their elder's murderer. There's a good description of the horses of Krishna, given in the Shastras by the Acharyas. They're not ordinary horses. They are actually horses from the spiritual world, come also into this world to assist in the pastimes of Lord Krishna. So he boarded the chariot, and then the horses took them very quick. Because they were in Hastinapur. Krishna and Balaram had gone to Hastinapur previously, and now from Hastinapur they were coming back to Dwarka. So that's a long way. Even today, if you go because Hastinapur means Delhi, from Delhi all the way to Dwarka, it's a couple of hours flying. An hour and a half maybe, or maybe 2 hours flying. A long way, but with swift horses. And then he went there and he gained the direction of Sadananda. He could understand Sadananda. And then Sadananda was fleeing. In a garden on the outskirts of Mithila, the horse Sadananda was riding collapsed. Terrified, he abandoned the horse and began to flee on foot with Krishna in angry pursuit. In text 21, as Sadananda fled on foot, the Supreme Lord, also going on foot, cut off his head with his sharp-edged disc, Sudarshan Chakra. The Lord then searched Sadananda's upper and lower garments for the Shamantaka jewel. Not finding the jewel, Lord Krishna went to his elder brother and said, "We have killed Sadadanva uselessly. The jewel isn't here." To this Lord Balaram replied, "Indeed, Sadadanva must have placed the jewel in the care of someone. You should return to our city and find that person." Of course, Krishna and Balaram know everything. They know that the jewel was with the Kula. And so, now Balaram, he wanted to go and visit one king. "I wish to visit King Videha, who is most dear to me, O Queen." Having said this, Lord Balaram, the beloved descendant of Yadu, entered the city of Mithila. Krishna Balaram, purport, had finally caught up with Sadadanva on the outskirts of Mithila. Since the king of the city was a dear friend of Balaram, so that's the city which Balaram was going to stay, the Lord decided to enter the city and spend some time there. The king of Mithila immediately rose from his seat when he saw Lord Balaram approaching with great love. The king honored the supremely worshipable Lord by offering him elaborate worship as stipulated by scriptural injunctions. Of course, so this king of Mithila, Mithila generally is, I don't know with this Mithila, but the Mithila formerly was known as the area of Ayodhya, and that was the seat of Janak Maharaj and all the kings, Lord Ram. So it seems that if it's the same Mithila, unless it's another Mithila. But so he went there, and the king greeted him very nicely. He worshipped the Lord. He honored the supremely worshipable Lord in his position as a prince of the royal order. Not only that, but he was the supreme personality. Got it? And of course, there are many injunctions. We worship the Lord, and we worship the Lord according to the scriptural injunctions. This is very important. We don't make up the worship. We don't concoct. Prabhupada was very strict about this as far as deity worship. They were very, very strict. He didn't want to make any offense. He wanted to train up his devotees very nicely. Lord Chaitanya instructed his disciples, the Goswamis, who were living in Vrindavan, to write many books explaining the process of devotional service, and also part of how to do the deity worship, how to dress the deities, how to do the offering, how to do the puja, what we should offer, incense, how many incense, the ghee lamp, how many flames even. Everything is very specifically described. What time of the day for Radha and Krishna, for the Jagannath, for the Gaunitai, everything where we cannot concoct. So Prabhupada was very strict on that. When he heard that there was some neglect in some temple, he would immediately contact those devotees and say, and contact the leaders there, "I have heard that there's some neglect on the worship of the deities, or some, not even some concoction of how you're worshipping the deity. The deity should be worshipped according to how I have said." There's many letters like that from Prabhupada. Well, not many, but some few. According to how I've instructed. Of course, Prabhupada instructed from the Shastra, and this is why it's according to scriptural injunctions. The king of Mithila worship Balaram, who is the supreme personality of God. So we've got the form of the Lord here, Radhamana, Panchatattva, and Lord Nrsingadev is there. So we're worshipping according to the injunctions. Don't concoct. I remember there was some big controversy some years ago in Vrindavan, in one of the temples there, Bankibihari temple, where some of the younger pujaris thought that, well, now is the modern era, and Krishna should be dressed, in more modern clothes. Now we're dressing in the old clothes, and now we have to dress Krishna. So they put him in more modern clothes and everything like that. So many people were complaining, "What is this? Well, why have we done like that?" So that immediately was changed. So you can't speculate. You can't just think, we're here in Manila, and the people of Manila, they dress like this. So let's dress Radha and Krishna like a girl of Manila. Let's dress Radha like the girl of the Manila, and let's Krishna like the man of Manila. The men dress like this, and we'll dress Krishna like that. And the girls dress like this, we'll put Radharani like that. And so no, we can't do that. Krishna, of course we're worshipping Radha Madhava in the mood of Lakshmi Narayan, so we dress very opulently, and they have their style of dress. There are good descriptions in the Shastras, in the Bhagavatam, how he is dressed, what coloured dress he comes, all the ornaments, the earrings, and all the necklaces. And of course, in Krishna, Radha and Krishna, they dress Braj Leela dressing, gopi dresses, and Krishna dresses in Braj Leela. But we don't do like that because that is more that is Raganuga Bhakti. So Radharani wears gopi dress. Radharani here, not wearing gopi dress, she's wearing more Lakshmi type dress. But that we're instructed to dress like that because we have to give more respect. We're not on the Raganuga that we can just spontaneously dress and do so many things. So therefore, to get the devotees to give more respect, the Lord is dressed very opulently with crown. Radharani has very, dressed very luxuriantly. So then we give more respect. Just very casually. Sometimes Krishna doesn't go with any top, just in the bottom. So, but if we dress too casually, we don't have enough respect. But then we may become too familiar, or we may commit offense. So therefore, you worship in the mood of Lakshmi Narayan, and we worship according to scriptural injunction. Very important instruction given here. Text 26. The Almighty Lord Balaram stayed in Mithila for several years, honoured by his affectionate devotee, Janak Maharaj. During that time, Dhritarashtra's son, Duryodhana, learned from Balaram the art of fighting with the club. Must have been Duryodhana came there. And, in his last days, at the end of the battle of Kurukshetra, Duryodhana had gone, and we know the story from Mahabharata, that Duryodhana had gone to one lake, and he was at the bottom of the lake, and the Pandavas came there and challenged him. And they challenged him, so he came out, and then he was fighting with the Balaram, not the Balaram, with Bhima. And so, when they were, there was one other incident where they were having a contest also when they were younger, and Balaram had trained both Bhima. They trained both Bhima, and there was one contest, and Balaram had mentioned that I've trained both Bhima and I've trained both Duryodhana, and I regard Duryodhana is more skillful in the club. He is more skillful, but Bhima, he is skillful, but not as skillful as Duryodhana, but he is stronger. So it is a very interesting, the competition will be very interesting. One is more skillful, the other one is more strong. So who will win? Hard to say. That was Lord Balaram's assessment. And he couldn't take sides because he was like the guru of both of them. So he couldn't take sides. So very interesting there. So anyway, Duryodhana apparently came there to learn the art of the club fighting with the club. Text 27, Lord Keshava arrived in Dwarka and described the demise of Sadadanda and his own failure to find the Shamataka jewel. He spoke in a way that would please his beloved Satyabhama. So here in the purport is mentioned, Queen Satyabhama was naturally pleased to hear that her father's murderer was brought to justice, but her father's Shamataka jewel still had to be recovered, and thus she was also pleased to hear of Lord Krishna's determination to recover it. And text 28, Lord Krishna then had various funeral rites performed for his deceased relative Satyajit. The Lord attended the funeral along with well-wishers of the family. So whatever feeling there was between Satyajit, now of course he's the father-in-law, and he was treated as a family member, just like in the marriage, the kidnapping of Rukmini by Krishna. When he took her, then Rukmini followed. He was very angry. He wanted to marry her to Shishupal, and so Lord Balaram came and defeated all the armies that were chasing Krishna. And then Rukmini said, "No, I'm going to by myself punish this Krishna and kill this Krishna for stealing my sister Rukmini." But he was defeated by Krishna, and Krishna, in defeating him, tied him up, and then began to cut his hair and must have made him look all funny looking, which is a great humiliation for a Kshatriya. But then Lord Balaram said, you know, now that you've kidnapped Rukmini, she's your wife now, and then Rukmini, by that, he's the brother-in-law, so you can't treat the family like that. So then Krishna had a different attitude to Rukmini, even, who was attacking him, and he just defeated. So Balaram gave good logic. Now he's a family member. So Satyajit now he became family member. So Krishna played the part. He was deceased, so he arranged all the funeral. He attended the funeral along with well wishes of the family. Text 29. I'll just read this one or two more here. When Akrura and Kritavarma, who had originally incited Saradanga to commit his crime, heard that he had been killed, they fled Dwarka in terror and took up residence elsewhere. In Akrura's absence, ill omens arose in Dwarka, and the citizens began to suffer continually from physical and mental distresses, as well as from disturbances caused by higher powers and by creatures of the earth. Purport. The word Daivika here refers to disturbances caused by supernatural beings. These disturbances often manifest as natural calamities like earthquakes, tidal waves, or extreme weather. Nowadays, materialistic people attribute these disturbances to earthly causes, not realizing that they constitute punishment at the hands of superior beings. The word abhotika refers to trouble caused by fellow creatures of the earth, such as human beings, animals, and insects. According to Srila Sridhar Swami, Akrura took the Shamataka jewel and went to reside in the city of Benares, in modern-day Varanasi, where he became known as Dhanapati, the master of charity. There he executed fire sacrifices and on gold altars with elaborate assemblies of qualified priests. Some residents of Dwarka felt that the unusual calamities were due to Akrura's absence, forgetting, as described in the next verse, that the Lord's personal presence at Dwarka precluded that possibility, because when the Lord comes to earth, his pastimes resemble those of a human being. Principle of familiarity breeds contempt comes into play. It appears that during the lives of many saintly persons and incarnations of God, there always exists a class of people who fail to appreciate, or who only occasionally appreciate, the position of great souls amongst them. On the other hand, the fortunate and enlightened souls who recognize the true position of the Lord and his associates are supremely blessed. So, in the next few verses, it's explained that these natural disturbances were really not so much because of Akrura's absence or the Shamataka jewel's absence. They were brought about by Krishna, because Krishna, or people were talking again, saying that, well, Krishna made Akrura flee. And so some people, there's always a class of people who speak bad things. So some people were saying, oh, Krishna's at fault for making an elder like Akrura have to flee and go all the way to Varanasi, which is a long way from Dwarka. So they were blaming Krishna for this, because and so Krishna didn't like that again. Again, his reputation, as was the case with Satyajit. So again, his reputation. So he created kind of these natural disturbances. And so the people would say, oh, it's because of Akrura leaving that the natural disturbances have come with the Shamataka jewel. And so, Krishna had a reason to go bring Akrura back. Oh, these disturbances are caused by Akrura's absence and the Shamataka jewel going. Therefore, I better bring Akrura back, and therefore also I better treat him nicely. I should not treat him badly. And we'll read later on how when he brings Akrura back, Krishna didn't at all punish him for his involvement in the killing of Satyajit. He treated him nicely. So Krishna created a situation where he could bring him back and treat him nicely instead of punishing him. And he said, because we need Akrura here because these natural disturbances, and we need the Shamataka jewel also. And so therefore he had to treat Akrura well, which he wanted to do, because Akrura actually is a very great devotee. And Krishna impelled him to act in these different ways. So it's a very interesting story. Here the comment is that natural disturbances, like we're getting heavy rain now, and these are Adi Daivik, come from the Devas, the sinful reactions have to come on the people, so therefore they get the Adi-Daivik. And also mentioned here, other people give you trouble. This is called Daivik, Adi-Daivik Klesha is from the Devas, and Adi-Bautik Klesha means from other people. Insects, all sorts of animals can give you trouble. And Adhyatmic, you can have trouble with your own mind. Even your own mind is giving you trouble. I've mentioned that the stress from physical and mental distress is reactions. You've got so much disturbances in your mind that can be the result of the karma from the former life. If you cause mental trouble to someone else, now in this life you're going to get mental trouble. So a very interesting point here. Alright, so thank you very much for attending the Srimad Bhagavatam class this morning. And I'll be, hopefully, if the weather permits, I'll be going on the plane this afternoon. But, who knows? And so, any questions or any comments on today's class?
First, on behalf of His Grace Radha Madhavam, we would like to thank you, Maharaj, for giving our session, for inspiring us, and please forgive us of any offenses unknowingly, knowingly, and looking forward to have your session very soon. Please come back.
Well, next time I'm coming, you'll be in the new temple. Radha Madhava has a new deity room.
Yes.
Beautiful. Big altar. The altar is getting made, and the singer-song is getting made. And so Lord Nityananda's appearance is something that we want to make the grand opening. So all you devotees have been working very hard, and it's very inspirational to devotees like myself to see how everyone's working so hard serving, and just a few of you, and you maintain, because to worship Radha Madhava, you need so much offerings of pujas and dressing and Hare Krishna. One time I think Prabhupada said that to worship Radha Krishna you need at least 12 Brahmins. Because we have to offer everything first class to Krishna. I think Prabhupada told us one time, I'm training you how to offer everything first class, because Krishna is the most first class. So therefore we have to offer everything first class. We can't offer less quality. We have to offer the best quality to show our appreciation to Krishna is giving, and our devotion and love for him. So I said, I'm training you how to be suchi, how to do everything nicely, offer all the first class. You're looking after him very nicely. So now, after so much effort, you can go to a more wonderful temple. This has also been very nice here, very intimate. The devotees can come here, but now there's a big difference between this one and the next one.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. All glories to Radha Madhava Bhagavan ki jai.
Jai.
Panchatattva ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Go Premanandi. Hare Krishna.
Swami Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada.